Coming up on Cronkite NewsWatch.
Why graffiti may continue to be an eyesore after budget cuts.
Plus, the heated debate on whether or not the Affordable Care Act should cover contraceptives.
And
We came up and it said the lot was full.
though the number of parking spaces doubled, the influx of hikers shows the recent renovations at Echo Canyon may not be enough.
In-depth, insightful, innovative. Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Cronkite NewsWatch. I'm Tara Molina.
And I'm Dom DeFurio. Thanks for joining us tonight.
The budget may have passed the Senate last week, but after failing to reach a budget deal, the House is back to further debate a spending plan. Cronkite News reporter Megan Thompson was at the Capitol.
Yeah, there have been all kinds of descriptions of what went on last night in the battle over the budget. But despite the fact that many thought it would be passed by the House, it simply wasn't. Now, this was the scene from last night. Yesterday, lots of waiting and wrangling votes as lawmakers in the House tried to pass the budget. Many thought the vote would happen last night at a late night floor hearing, but the vote never came and lawmakers went behind closed doors to discuss. Now, this afternoon hearing started up again, but lawmakers there say there are a lot of hurdles to get through before anything is passed.
We'll see if they're able, if the leadership in the House is able to wrangle the votes, then we'll put something up. But at 2:30, we'll know today.
Yeah, but 2:30 came and went and still nothing. Many lawmakers met in small groups to try to hash things out, but still no budget. Now, we'll keep you updated on anything as soon as it becomes available. Live in the Media Center, Megan Thompson, Cronkite News.
And another budget being battled today is the City of Phoenix budget. The City of Phoenix is facing a projected $37.7 million deficit for the upcoming fiscal year, which is why they are slashing about $29 million in services. This means community centers and pool safety programs could see major changes and closures. The City Council is meeting right now to try and hammer out where the cuts will come from. The next plan is to have the proposal go through community budget meeting beginning next month.
Possibly falling victim to the Phoenix City budget cuts is the Graffiti Fighting Squad, a group that NewsWatch has followed for many years. They help clean up walls and buildings in the city. But as Cronkite News reporter Juan Magana shows us, their cleanup efforts may soon be coming to an end.
Don McCann is fixing his mom's home.
It's a nice big house.
Fixing it so he can sell it. And one thing he hates is seeing graffiti on his walls.
It's an eyesore and it makes my property value probably go down.
Not only does graffiti look ugly on your property, but it also brings down the value by 15%. At least according to the City of Phoenix officials, Don says he appreciates the city's help in cleaning up his neighborhood. But if the city cuts staff in the graffiti removal program, that would mean homeowners would have to wait longer for the city to come out and remove the paint. The Graffiti Buster section has 27 staff and their budget is $2.4 million a year. Even though everything's being looked at to try to bring down the city's $38 million budget deficit, he hopes his program isn't targeted.
This program is key in not only helping residents in keeping the city of Phoenix clean and beautiful, but it also is key in the economic vitality of the city.
Key in keeping neighborhoods like Don's looking good.
You know, keep the walls, keep up on the maintenance of keeping the walls painted, just, I believe, to help keep the violence down in the area.
As well as
Maybe it'll help the home values come up.
in getting a good price for his mom's graffiti-free home when they put it on the market. In Phoenix, Juan Magana, Cronkite News.
The proposal was heard in the budget meeting today, and a final vote will happen in May.
With other larger Arizona cities operating in the black, some are wondering how Phoenix ended up in such a bind. It may be a case of unrealistic expectations. Cronkite investigative reporter Jake Stein takes a look at the timeline.
$38 million. It's a number Phoenix residents and council members aren't taking lightly. We're talking about the city's estimated 2014-2015 fiscal year deficit. While concerns about budget cuts and layoffs become a reality, many are wondering how the sixth largest city in the country dug itself into this multi-million-dollar shortfall. Last October, the Phoenix City Council voted in favor of a phased reduction of the city's emergency sales tax on food, which was cut in half from 2% to 1% as of January 1st. The tax will completely expire in March of 2015. By that time, the reduced sales tax will cost the city an estimated $33 million. Phoenix City Council members approved a plan back last fall that was supposed to cover for the loss by selling city land, refinancing city transit bonds, and reorganizing staff. But it wasn't enough. It's a decision that sparked controversy, and one that some blame, in part, for today's looming deficit. For the investigative team, I'm Jake Stein, Cronkite News.
Governor Jan Brewer appointed 17 people to the Arizona Human Trafficking Council, with Sidney McCain and Gil Arantia serving as co-chairs. Brewer created the council as an extension of the Task Force on Human Trafficking. And with the upcoming Super Bowl in 2015, she wants to combat the growing problem of sex trafficking in Arizona. Brewer says it will take a group effort in addition to working with state lawmakers to strengthen Arizona trafficking laws. We also must enhance federal, state, and local coordination to address and eliminate this atrocity once and for all. The council will report directly to Governor Brewer and will update her on any human trafficking developments in the state.
The council, 2 businesses are challenging the Affordable Care Act and took their cases to the Supreme Court today. Reporter Mackenzie Scott has more from Washington.
Don't let freedom. It may have been snowing outside, but that didn't stop people from being fired up today, as the Supreme Court considered whether businesses have to provide all types of contraceptive coverage to their workers, even if that goes against their employer's religious beliefs. Among the hundreds of protesters that showed up was Greg Scott, a spokesman for the Arizona-based Alliance Defending Freedom, which represented one of the family-owned businesses arguing before the court today.
Government shouldn't be able to have the power to come in and tell families that they must fund other people's abortion-inducing drugs.
But under the Affordable Care Act, businesses could be called on to do just that, including contraceptives and employees' health coverage such as emergency birth control.
Bosses belong in the boardroom, not the bedroom.
Amory Benitez of the National Latina Institute for Reproductive Health believes that the law is right, that the decision on contraceptive coverage should not be left up to the businesses.
Truly believe the decisions in regards to birth control should stay within the woman, her family, and her faith, and not the boss.
The court heard 2 cases, one by Hobby Lobby, a craft store owned by the Oklahoma-based Green family, and the other by Conestoga Wood Specialties, a Pennsylvania business owned by the Hahn family. Although the Supreme Court won't be arriving to any decisions today, Scott says that freedom will win if the Supreme Court sides with the companies.
If the Hahn family wins this case, freedom wins for all Americans, because the government should never coerce Americans to violate their deepest convictions.
In Washington, Mackenzie Scott, Cronkite News.
The Supreme Court is expected to issue its decision in late June.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
If you build it, they will come. More hikers flooding to Echo Canyon after its reopening is causing more of the same problems it faced before.
And one unexpected item being controlled by drug cartels. How it could affect your wallet the next time you order a drink.
Imagine being stranded.
Needing 16,000 points for them.
From TV banks to computers.
Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Kiss me. That's my kind of man. You've been creating quite a stir.
The winter you've been waiting for is on PBS.
You must choose either death or life.
All the drama.
There's going to be changes at Downton.
It's getting harder to say no.
The adventure.
The waves are breaking all around us.
And the spectacle of nature.
We're going to show how special these animals are.
Come in from the cold. Support the one place that can take you any place.
a tradition of excellence, integrity, and innovation.
The second I came in, I fell in love with the program.
The Cronkite School propels students into the new era of journalism.
Students are learning.
Digital, entrepreneurial, and collaborative labs encourage students to shape the future of the industry, and the industry is watching.
We have come here to meet with students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
The Cronkite School, the journalism school for the digital age.
Echo Canyon is a popular hiking spot and has become even more popular since the parking lot renovation. But not everyone is happy about the new influx of visitors. Reporter Kaylee Formicella shows us what hikers are dealing with as they try to hit the trails.
Tourist Robin Dawes hasn't even hiked up the trail at Echo Canyon yet, but she's already tired from the drive there.
We came up and it said the lot was full.
When Dawes couldn't find parking, she paid to park at a nearby resort and then walked a mile to get to the beginning of the trail.
I kind of feel like I've had my hike and I'm ready to go home.
Park Ranger Sean Peters says Echo Canyon has seen a huge increase in visitors to the popular park since its reopening in January. The park was closed for a full year, undergoing a renovation that actually added parking spaces.
And they almost doubled the number of spots, so it went from 67 to right about 138.
But apparently that's still not enough because traffic to park is backed up all the way to the major roads. Park Ranger Sean Peters says the best way to avoid traffic is to ride a bike or to come on a weekday morning. But even weekday mornings are experiencing problems. It took me about 30 minutes just to get through the gates this morning. Avid hiker Ruben Vasquez says he was surprised when he had trouble getting into the trail on a Tuesday morning.
I was the one telling my friends, oh, today should be good, should be chill. I came last Wednesday and it was nothing. It wasn't. It took a while.
And it doesn't look like it's going to get better anytime soon, at least until the temperatures start to soar and scare off visitors. Kaylee Formicella, Cronkite News.
The cool temperatures and spring training games have thousands of people visiting the trail, between 8,000 and 11,000 visitors every week. And a warning, don't park on the roads because police are citing people.
A $3.8 million project to reconstruct bridges on Interstate 40 in Winslow starts next week. The Arizona Department of Transportation says 6 east and westbound bridges will undergo work that includes replacing decks and paving. The work is expected to be completed this fall, and during construction, lanes will be narrowed and the speed limit lowered.
A proposed streetcar in Tempe is at a crossroads. Officials are deciding between two potential routes. The streetcar would help residents get around Tempe easier, and both routes are around 3 miles. The project has been in the works since 2007, and officials hope it will boost redevelopment and help make travel easier. It would be the second streetcar line in the state. The first will open in Tucson this summer.
And something you don't think of as costing a lot, limes. You can usually get them at the store for just a couple of quarters. But as Cronkite News reporter Vivian Padilla tells us, those quarters are turning into dollars.
When it comes to Latin cuisine, a lime plays a very important role.
It's like one of our main ingredients that we use.
But a shortage in lime supplies is having businesses like the Mission in Old Town Scottsdale feeling a little sour.
For the tacos, we offered usually 2 lime slices for it. We do 1. We won't garnish the margaritas because, we don't want to be super wasteful.
Limes are a hot commodity in Mexico, especially in the state of Michoacan, where a battle between local farmers and the cartel has left American businesses with a higher than usual price tag for the green citrus.
$30 to $40 per case, and that's for 40 pounds of limes. And now the jump has gone up to 90 to 100 per case.
Cold weather in the country has also damaged supplies. The largest importer of produce in Arizona says the shortage is the worst they've ever seen, leaving customers with limes that are a little on the scrawny side.
The limes that are on the market right now and being sold are smaller limes. We expect prices to remain high for the next 3 or 4 months.
Meaning Michael pays more for bad condition limes, and customers like David Borsa get less.
Well, we didn't realize, obviously, at first, but now that we know that there's been a shortage, we can tell that there's less lime on the plate than there normally is.
And timing couldn't have been worse for restaurants in Phoenix, who cater to the spring training clientele.
This is the time of year for tourists, and it's just been busy.
A busy year where tourists from out of state are slamming down margaritas, but margaritas with a little less lime on board. Reporting in Scottsdale, Vivian Padilla, Cronkite News.
What you might not know is that 98% of the lime usage in the U.S. is imported from Mexico. So a lime war is the last thing we need.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
To stay as the city of Tempe gets stricter.
It's March Madness, and while people are worried about the picks on their brackets, you should worry about picking out a new wardrobe. I'll tell you why and have your full forecast right after this.
NewsWatch is one of the really big things I will always remember for the rest of my life.
You're lugging around all of your equipment, you are doing all of the work, and that's what makes it so fulfilling to me.
Being an anchor, I think it's a privilege. I enjoy every moment of it.
Seeing your show on air, it is one of the most surreal feelings ever.
What if we could unlock every mystery?
We're at the beginning of a revolution.
That's a huge discovery.
That's never been done before, ever, anywhere.
No one feeds on curiosity like PBS. Give to your PBS station so future generations can keep asking, what if?
I am a chef. I cook for a living. And I think of PBS as a window to the world. That kind of place where you feel you are part of the story. I want to be part of every possible world is out there. That's when things become really amazing. And when you are able to see stories that make you wonder, makes you think, that's what really makes PBS so meaningful. And that's the kind of TV we need to be supporting today.
In one Valley city, you can get slapped with a pretty hefty fine for blocking the sidewalk. Reporter Taylor Bryant found out the new ordinance is stirring some conflict.
Mill Ave used to be a hot spot for the homeless to hang and sell their goods, but lately they are hard to find in downtown Tempe, and that may be because of a new ordinance passed by the City Council in January.
The ordinance was established to ensure that people weren't on the street in a way that actually impeded traffic or caused some sort of a safety risk.
Homeless teens that we talked to think the ordinance is directed towards them.
Like they're trying to get rid of us. Like they're trying to get us out of big cities, out in the middle of nowhere where we can't fend for ourselves.
Edward says the streets is where they make their living.
They rely on sponging and getting money from other people, and now that the cities are making where we can't get any kind of money, it's making it harder for us to survive.
If caught blocking traffic, the fine could be up to $2,500. Councilmember Wood says the ordinance is about safety, not discrimination.
If someone is sitting in an alley in a way that impedes, let's say, a public works person from picking up their trash, that's a safety risk not only for that person, but also for the driver of that vehicle.
One council member felt this code was directed at who people are versus what people are doing.
People of Tempe saying, you know, we're concerned about people we don't like being near us. And so we want the police to keep people that we don't like not near us.
Councilmember Granville wants the ordinance to change. One reason being is that if you are cited for sitting on these streets, chances are you can't pay a $2,500 fine. In Tempe, Taylor Bryant, Cronkite News.
Councilmember Granville hopes the ordinance will be changed in the next coming weeks.
The search continues for those missing in what could be the second deadliest landslide in U.S. history. It's day 4 for search and rescue teams as they use sonar equipment and even search dogs to find any trace of survivors. So far, 176 people are missing. The death toll is at 14, and these numbers don't change, this could be the second deadliest landslide since 1928. If you take a look at our satellite radar, you can see parts of Washington, Oregon, they're getting hit with some rain showers. But if we head on over to the East Coast, you can see they have a storm system making its way up the coast, and spring is not anywhere near them. They're getting hit with some snow showers up to about a foot, and some winds will pick up because of this low pressure system. As for us here in Arizona, we will remain dry and warm for the most part, but we're tracking 2 storm systems. As you can see, the first one, it's going to bring some high clouds and a little bit of chance for most of the eastern parts of our state, but Also, we had a dust storm warning here earlier, and that will be in effect until 5 p.m. tonight. But hopefully, if you try to avoid travel at all costs. For the next couple of days, though, you'll notice winds are going to pick up on Wednesday. Will be very gusty, up to about 30 miles per hour. Thursday will be slightly breezy. Temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s, but then they're going to crank back up as we head on into the weekend. We'll be in the mid to upper 80s on Saturday and Sunday with mostly cloudy or mostly sunny skies. That's it for your full forecast. I'm Alina Lee, Cronkite Weather.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
It's called March Madness because if you told people what's been going on, they think you were crazy, and you're not going to believe this. And it isn't just basketball. It looks like there's some madness on the diamond as well. Learn about that and why I'm losing the station bracket pool right after this.
A tradition of excellence, integrity, and innovation.
The second I came in, I fell in love with the program.
The Cronkite School propels students into the new era of journalism.
Students are learning.
Digital, entrepreneurial, and collaborative labs encourage students to shape the future of the industry, and the industry is watching.
We have come here to meet with students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
The Cronkite School, the journalism school for the digital age.
What if television could sweep us away to another time and place?
Very nice, my lady.
And could take us from the Gilded Age to the Great War. From the heat of the chase to the heart of a queen. No one tells stories like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring stories like these to life. What if television could remember the heroes we honored, the music we danced to, the dreams we chased?
The hope still lives, and the dream shall never die.
No one tells our nation's story like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring America's story to life.
NewsWatch is one of the really big things I will always remember for the rest of my life.
You're lugging around all of your equipment, you are doing all of the work, and that's what makes it so fulfilling to me.
Being an anchor, I think it's a privilege. I enjoy every moment of it.
Seeing your show on air, it is one of the most surreal feelings ever.
Last night, the ASU women's basketball team went toe-to-toe with the #1 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and while the Sun Devils proved they could take a hit, they just didn't land enough of their own. The final, 87-64, Notre Dame. And ASU couldn't pull off the upset, but someone had to. They need to change the name of the school from Duke to Jester because this has to be a joke. The second seed Blue Devils take on 7th seed DePaul, and in the second half, DePaul goes off from deep range. The Blue Demons drain 8 second half threes and go on to upset the Blue Devils and my bracket 74-65. And March Madness doesn't only happen on the hardwood, but on the ice as well. The Yotes entered the Garden last night, tied with Dallas for the #8 playoff spot in the Western Conference, but the surging Rangers stood in their way. Fast forward to the third period, Yotes up 3-2, and a scary moment here. Phoenix goalie Mike Smith and Ranger Derek Brassard collide. You see Smith's leg get trapped on his body, and his face says it all. Smith left the game, and the Rangers took advantage here to tie it, and again in overtime, the Rangers win, final 4-3. Now, even with the loss, the Yotes do get a point for forcing overtime, which puts them in sole possession of 8th place with only 10 games left to play in the regular season. And while the Coyotes continue to fight for a playoff spot, Grand Canyon University's baseball team is fighting just to make a name for themselves. It's the team's first year in Division I, but as I found out for their coach, it's been a career full of firsts. A bench-clearing brawl like this is enough to make any manager's skin crawl, but for GCU's manager, it's a good sign.
I hope that we have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder coming into Division I.
This season, Grand Canyon University takes the field as a Division I team and a member of the WAC for the first time. But for their coach, being the new team in the league is nothing new.
Every year I kind of had to prove myself as a player, and then I think trying to get our guys to understand that every year we're going to have to prove ourselves as a program.
Stankiewicz was an original Diamond back in 1998, and experience his players say makes him a coach worth listening to.
What he tells us is the correct way, how to play, what to do, everything we need to do. Everything he just says we know is right.
Stankiewicz's instruction leads to something to cheer about on the field, and he hopes his players apply it to life off the diamond.
It'll be fun to watch our guys graduate and grow up and have families and come back for alumni games and being a part of that.
While he may have only been a D-back for one season, Stankiewicz wants to be a Lope for life. Thanks in large part to Stankiewicz's guidance, the Lopes are 11-11 this season and take on Chicago State at home this weekend. And while GCU is in the throes of its season, spring training is winding down and opening day is right around the corner, and you might even receive a few greeting cards. Why? Because Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith got 100,000 signatures on his petition to make opening day a national holiday. Now President Obama has a historic and Hall of Fame caliber decision to make. Now, I don't usually get involved in politics, but I'm really hoping the president makes the right decision here.
I think this is one of the easier decisions he's going to make this week. That's it for Cronkite NewsWatch tonight.
Thanks for joining us and have a good one.
Just this week.